Hey, hey,
Hey, Keane, what's up, man?
it's going well. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you as well.
I love how you have the books framed back there. It's a great
Yeah, it's a, it's
backdrop.
a fake. It's a fake.
Oh, I got you. It really did look real.
Yeah. So I found one that was like very white and vibrant. Then
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. Very cool. So, where are you located?
I'm located in Vancouver, Canada.
Wonderful. I love the Canadians, man. My main vocation is a jazz radio host. The government always gives grants out to musicians. You have socialized healthcare. You respond to like gun violence in a way America should. There's so many things. I know it's not a utopia, but which I'm always corrected, but I just do really like the way that there's things that are executed so well up there.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a lot of things that aren't executed very well too, right? I mean, I think it's just every every country, every state, every city, they'll have their own weird things
They
going
do.
on.
They certainly do. And speaking of weird things, before we get into your life and your career, we all went through craziness with COVID. How did you survive that 3 year period? And how has it changed you now that we're entering this post-pandemic era of our lives?
Yeah, so pretty much during COVID, I was still doing digital marketing. I was just helping businesses with marketing and advertising and branding and so forth. And pretty much during COVID, I was just talking to like 10 people, like just the team and a few clients, and wasn't really getting out much and networking much. I didn't get vaccinated, so in Vancouver, people that were not vaccinated were not able to go do anything. So basically, you weren't able to go into restaurants, you weren't able to go to like you weren't able to do anything. You're pretty much restricted, but you were able to go to the casino and the malls.
Wow. How weird is that?
Yeah, so when I wanted to eat out, it would either be ordering food in or going to the food court to eat,
Wow.
but we weren't able to go into restaurants. So it's weird because there's how there's restaurants inside malls.
Uh-huh.
You weren't able to go into those restaurants, but you could go anywhere else into the mall.
That's so strange.
And then in order to eat food, like you'd have to go to a food court to buy food, or anywhere that didn't serve tape like that didn't have table service.
That's so bizarre because even in America, you could go into a restaurant with the mask on, but you took it off the whole time. Like, there's so many things that just didn't add up.
Yeah. So,
So,
I went down the route of not getting vaccinated. It restricted a lot of things during the time that there was the whole pandemic. Um, I mean, I got through it. I made the conscious choice of not wanting to put that in my body, and now it's just like it never happened. It was like everything's the same.
yeah. Well, the weird thing is, I know Fauci here in America said that one way or another, everyone is going to get this. It's someone that you're going to catch. Did you happen to catch it?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
There out of the past, let's just say the past 3 years, I got really sick maybe 2 or 3 times, but it was only within 24 to 48 hour period.
Gotcha.
Like I was bedridden for one day and then I just pretty much slept the whole day and with like a massive migraine. I was super dehydrated, was sore and achy. And then after like 24, 36 hours of being in bed, like I was fine right after.
Wow.
So
That's
that kind of
interesting.
happened twice, I think. And
Yeah.
then the third time was kind of just like a few days, but it was like both within like 48 hours
Wow.
and like good to go.
Yeah. So
No.
let's get into your life. You mentioned digital marketing, but you're also a mindset and transformational coach. So let's put you in front of a bunch of third graders at a career day. One of the kids looks up and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
So if I was answering for a child in third grade, I would, so I guess I would tell them to, how I'd answer that would be to work on yourself, to work on your mind, work on your body, and be able to operate and function at peak performance and be the best version of yourself.
So what did you want to be when you were in the third grade?
When I was in the third grade, I didn't even know what I, I didn't even know what there was to be.
Yeah.
Like I would have never thought I would be in marketing and advertising. I would have never thought I would be a real estate agent. I would never have thought I would wanted to be a coach. So I guess in third grade, I was just fixated on wanting to play games.
Right. Sure. As they all do. So talk to me a little bit about where you were born and raised and what these seeds that were put into you to want to become not only a coach, but to get into real estate and marketing. How did all of this happen for you?
So pretty much as I was, well, I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. Um, I really believed a lot of it came from how the school system let me down to then want to kind of pursue to be better, like to pursue bettering myself. And yeah, as I was growing up, I was always put into, I guess, the special classes. I was put into like assisted reading. Was put into the resource classes, which is like basically a class where you get put in with all the other students that did not excel in academics. Um, I was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. The in my grade 12 year, I wasn't able to take any academic courses, and I really wanted to take English 12 just so I had English 12, but they didn't let me, so I had to take Communications 12, which was, I guess, the easier English. And yeah, the rest of my classes in grade 12 were not academic classes. They were electives. So yeah, just kind of going through that journey, I always thought maybe I had a learning disability, or always thought that something was different about me.
So did that make you excel more? Did it really motivate and inspire you to do more because of that?
I don't think it, not when I was younger, but I think it was a little bit later on in life.
Yeah.
One example that kind of like frustrated me, or made me a little bit upset, was when I was in grade 10. I was taking English, and I think I was doing okay. And I asked my teacher, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to pass English 10? Do I need to get a certain mark on my exam? Like do I need to just finish off a few more, past homework, or whatever? What can I do to at least just pass so I don't have to go to summer school? And she told me, she's like, there's no way you're gonna pass this course. You're gonna just have to take summer school. So when that happened, during the provincial exam, I just pretty much wrote my name and I walked out of the course, or walked out of the exam. And when I look back at my grades, I honestly think if I actually just did the exam, I probably would have just been able to just pass with like a bare minimum, but still be able to pass.
Interesting.
But kind of just being told that it's like, okay, well, I'm discouraged. I'm not gonna bother. I guess I'll just have to take summer school.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I just didn't write the exam. I just like pretty much wrote my name and just scribbled through the whole exam, and left.
Hmm. So who's been kind of a motivator for you? Who's been a hero for you in your life?
I think mine the heroes would probably be a lot of the entrepreneurs I see online. I think that's kind of how it started. And then as I realized, hey, there's people that can do really cool things. I started to attract more of these people locally. Um, I think one of the first people that I saw that kind of inspired me was Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
When I was just kind of getting out of high school, and then as social media came along and Instagram came along, came across Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was kind of the one that put me on a trajectory of wanting to pursue entrepreneurship.
So you may have already answered my next question, which is if you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who'd it be?
Meet anybody, spend some time with them. Hmm. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that, because as of now, I think I'm a little bit more selective with who I want to learn from. Um, the way I see mentorship now is kind of like, what areas in my life do I need to improve on? and is this person where I want to be in that particular area? So it's not really necessarily seeing someone, putting them up on a pedestal, and then wanting to meet them or be with them, but it's more of just what is it that they're doing very well that I can learn from. But if it were to be someone that I think I would really want to meet, I probably would say, yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, I think
That
that's
that's
a
that's fine. That's an answer in itself for sure. So in all of the work that you've done recently as a coach, what's been your best success story?
the best success story. Hmm. Well, there was this doesn't go back to when I became a coach, but I think this was something that happened to me in the past. I think when I was about 25 years old, I got scammed about $75,000, and just being able to overcome that and realize like, hey, like things don't happen to you, but it happens for you. And I actually went through a personal success seminar that helped me really overcome that. Because during that time when I went to that seminar, I was sharing with the class. I'm like, oh, I don't think it's really holding me back anymore, but I think it just might be something to share. And I shared the experience, and then the instructor, the facilitator, was like, well, if you didn't really care about this, why are you sharing this with the class? And that really hit me.
Yeah.
And I think having somebody facilitate me through going through that experience more precisely, more clearly, opposed to me trying to overcome it myself. Because at that time, I've never told anybody. The only person that really knew what happened was me and my girlfriend. So now
Interesting.
I think this is kind of like one of the first times that I'm actually sharing this on live.
Yeah. So in your life, of all the things that you've done, what are you the proudest of? Would you say that, or is there something else?
Um, well, I think the something that I'm proudest is probably today how I'm in the best shape of my life, how I developed like the strongest discipline I've ever developed, the best mindset I've ever had. So I think it's more kind of just everything as a whole, but today I stand very proud of the progress that I've made with my own transformation.
So the one thing about COVID is that made people really look within and really try to make themselves better. Have you seen an uptick from people? Has this been kind of the perfect time for you to have this business model?
I think so, because I don't know if it's just my algorithm, but on social media, I'm starting to see a lot more things about like, trying to not listen to the media, or the media is lying to you, or things just about improving your personal growth and spirituality. So I don't know if it's just my algorithm, or if it's something that is just being more aware now as people had gone through the pandemic. Because a lot of the people that I've been talking to locally, a lot of them have been saying like, oh, I'm starting to feel like the whole COVID situation is not feels, it feels a little bit iffy. So I've been hearing that more and more as now time has passed since the pandemic.
Yeah. So let's say that younger version of yourself, when you were taking that test and wrote your name and walked out, if you could give that version of you a piece of advice, say you had a dream tonight, you ran into that version of you, based on everything you've learned and all the wisdom you've gained so far, what advice would you give your younger version?
Oh, that's a great question. That kind of just brought me to a little bit of tears. I would have told myself, just do it with full intention. Just write the exam, regardless if you're going to fail or not. Just put your effort into it and just do it. I I feel like as a kid, or just back then, I always wanted to find the easiest path, or just do things that was easy and just be done with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, thinking back, I think that's such a poor mindset, poor mentality. And if I were to give that, I guess I would probably be about 15, 16 years old at the time. If I were to give myself advice, I just feel like, hey, Kian, regardless of how you're feeling or what you think the outcome would be, if you give it your all and you know you did your best, like there's no way you're gonna feel like crap giving it your all.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
I genuinely think that would be the message I would give myself. Like that question kind of just brought some tears to my eyes,
Yeah,
just
no,
because.
it's good. That's good. That's the kind of the cathartic bridge you're trying to build right there. Let me ask you this, kind of in a frivolous way. If you could witness any event in human history firsthand with your own eyes, what would you have loved to have seen happen?
What would I love to see happen? I I think this is this might be considered dark, but I think maybe experiencing war or going through some sort of experience like that, just because of like I'm a big believer of the law of polarity, and if there has to be dark in order to be light, and if there needs to be, you must experience some true sadness to experience true happiness, and just kind of having a full spectrum of really different feelings, I think can really grow someone as an individual and kind of just make you be more grateful for things that you have. As grateful as I am, I don't think I've really experienced certain traumas that I hear other like stories of other people
Yeah.
that they experience. It's not necessarily me wanting to just like be there and like, oh, how was it going to be like if I was in a war-stricken country? But it's more of just maybe being able to put myself there, experiencing through a lens, seeing how things really, really are, opposed to just hearing about it or seeing it in videos.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Um, Everyone out there has a perception of you, your family, your friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
The perception of me, I really believe, is just somebody who's always just trying their best to be the best version of themselves, and just really trying to be that energy that's spreading it to everybody else. It can be anybody from them watching me on the social media screen, or maybe somebody that's just arm's reach away. Um, I The perception of myself is just somebody that's just trying to glow with a lot of positivity and a lot of inspiration and a lot of empowerment for other human beings to be the best version of themselves.
That's wonderful. It's a great answer. Keane, if anyone wants to hire you, learn more about you, where can they go?
Well, they can find me on Instagram. It's at Keaneu, so at KEANEYU. I'm always on my phone. I'm always answering my DMs, and that's pretty much the easiest way or the best way to reach me.
Right on.
And that's, yeah, I'm always on there.
Have you listened to the rock band named Keane?
I have not a lot, but there's a song that I really, really like from them, which is, I think it's Somewhere Only We Know.
Yeah, I used to listen to them back in the day. So when I saw your name, I was like, I haven't listened to those guys in a while.
Yeah, so the first time I actually heard about them or saw them was, I was a kid and I was at the mall, and I don't know if that store is it's not around anymore, but it used to be called, I think it's HMV or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a music store, and I just remember like right front and center they had their album. That album just came out, and it was like Keane, like a bunch of the CD albums like Keane. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah,
That's
right.
kind of how I came across them. I was like a little kid, and like that song, like Somewhere Only We Know, came out like a really long time ago. Like
Yeah.
I think at least 2 decades ago.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, if it was 2 decades ago, it probably was like 8, 9, 10 or something like that. And yeah, that's kind of how the first time I came across them. And then as I got older, learned about the internet, knew how to search up music videos.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I came across them.
That's cool. That would be a cool thing to have as a kid, to see that just kind of explode your name right in front of you. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Hey, man, thank you for being raw and open today about your story and opening up. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.